Now that we pretty much have the whole head built, we need to start making some decisions about how we want to animate this. Let's go ahead and open the file that we created. It's under Desktop, Exercise Files, SplineHead, and it's 07. Now this head is still kind of a spline cage that's still live. So we really can't, it's not a good idea to animate it this way because almost every single one of these vertices is actually just two coincident vertices. So it's very easy to break this model. So we want to get it into a more stable format. Now we could just turn it into a patch, and that's very easy to do. All you have to do is go Modifiers, Patch, Edit Patch. Go up to Surface here, Modifiers, Edit Patch, and now the whole thing is a patch model. So each one of these vertices is a patch, and you can move them and animate them however you want. And if you want to animate this as a series of patches, you can certainly do that. We just created a polygonal body, so actually I want to go ahead and make this into a polygonal object. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this, and instead of an edit patch, I'm just going to put in an edit mesh. So now we've got a basic edit mesh modifier, and if we want, we can throw a mesh smooth on top of that and give it some subdivision, and we have a fairly smooth model, and we can animate that just fine. Now that it is a mesh, we do need to do a few more things to it. One of the first things we should do is probably create a little bit of a neck. So I'm going to actually go down to my Edit Mesh modifier, and the easiest way to do it is just to extrude those edges along the bottom there. So I'm going to go ahead, select Edge, and then just highlight all of these edges along that open portion. Make sure I get them all. And then all we have to do is scroll over here to Extrude and just give it some geometry. So now I basically have a neck here. I'm going to go into my right viewport, and we need to kind of shape this. So first thing I'm going to do, while these edges are still selected, I'm going to scale them down so I have a flat profile, and then just move them. Now we probably could scale them a little bit this way so that it matches this profile of the drawing. And let's go into a front view. And if you notice, it extruded off at an angle, so let's go ahead and move that in so it's pretty much perpendicular along this edge. And that's still a pretty thick neck, so I'm going to go ahead and go to Vertices. And let's go ahead and start moving these in. Now, if I want, I can take a look at it from this side, and it's looking pretty good, although looks like I've kind of got a saggy neck here, so I'm going to go ahead and select these and move them up a little bit. And I can actually move this one down so that I've got more of a sweep there. And from this side, I'm probably going to have to move it in. Again, we're just looking at trying to get a good profile here. And let's go ahead and look at it in a perspective view and see what we've got. Okay, it's not really that round, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of round it off a little bit. Make it a little bit more of a cylindrical type of profile for this neck. And that looks pretty good. Looks like a good start there. So, now that we have this character with its neck, probably what we need to do is now start working on the entire face. So I'm going to actually I'm going to unhide, actually I'm going to unfreeze everything, and then select these two planes and then hide them. So now all we have is the model. Makes it much easier to see. Now, just like with the body, we've modeled half. So what we need to do is create the other half. And how did we do that with the body? Well, the first thing we did was we made sure that everything along here, all of these vertices were coincident. So I'm going to go ahead and scale those in X. Make sure it's all just fine. Then I'm going to move this. I can see there's a little bit of a gap there, as you can see. So it's a little bit off of that center line. So I'm going to move it as close to the center line as I can. And then I'm going to change the pivot point. So I'm going to go to my hierarchy panel, Effect Pivot Only, and I'm going to move my pivot point so that it's right there at the very center. There we go. And now I can just, as with the other one, I can mirror that surface as a reference, and I can start modeling. So if I look at this in a perspective view. Now, as I work on the model, I can go back down to my vertex here, and oops. I have to select this side, go down to my vertex level, and as you can see, I affect one side. If I model on one side, I model also on the other. So this is really great for creating symmetry and being able to see your model as you work. So I'm going to go ahead and save this out, and then we're going to go in and start doing a little bit of detailing in here so I can show you how to do that.